or as alive, but there has been a confirmation. There has been, well, as good as a confirmation from the draft. And it's unfortunate they leaked the expansion draft, or at least leaked part of the expansion draft.
Or is alive, but there has been a confirmation. There has been well as good as a confirmation from the draft, and it's unfortunate they leaked the expansion draft, or at least leaked part of the expansion draft. The WNBA expansion draft was one of the most exciting moments for basketball fans this year. With the Golden State Valkyries entering the league, everyone was speculating about how this new team would shape its roster. One name that naturally came up in these discussions was Caitlin Clark. She's one of the biggest stars in women's basketball right now, known for her incredible scoring ability, her deep 3-0 shots, and her on-court leadership. Right, there we go. We have our first 4 names of the reveal, and there they are. And just in case you didn't pick up on it, these names are being announced in alphabetical order from the teams of the W, so there's no ranking here in terms of who's most important in your first thought. But when the draft results came in, something surprising happened. The Valkyries didn't draft her. This decision shocked fans and analysts alike, sparking debates across social media and sports shows. So what led to this unexpected move? The Golden State Valkyries expansion draft marked a turning point for the WNBA. It's not every day a new team gets to assemble a roster from scratch, and fans were eager to see who they'd pick. While many expected bold moves, the decision not to draft Caitlin Clark, arguably one of the league's brightest stars, sparked controversy and confusion. As for the names on the back of the jerseys, we do have 4 more names that are about to be revealed in just a moment, but we do want to do a little table set of the Valkyries' notable games during what will be their inaugural season. They'll open the season in the Chase Center against the Sparks, and a battle for some other marquee matchups as well. Defending champ Liberty May 27th, and they've got the Aces and Fever in June. But for Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of phenomenal. Her collegiate career at Iowa turned her into a household name, and her transition to the WNBA only amplified her influence. A prolific scorer and gifted playmaker, she's the kind of player who can sell tickets and win games. So why didn't the Valkyries pick her when they had the chance? The answer lies in a mix of strategy, roster building priorities, and the challenges of handling star power in a brand new team. Let's start with Caitlin Clark's undeniable talent. She's more than just a scorer. She's a game changer. Her ability to hit 3-pointers from seemingly impossible distances and her court vision make her a unique asset. She's also a leader on and off the court, often taking over games in crucial moments. Any team would be lucky to have her, or so it seems. But building a new franchise isn't just about talent, it's about fit, chemistry, and long-term planning. The Valkyries entered the expansion draft with a clear vision: build a team that can compete not just for attention but for championships. This meant focusing on players who could bring versatility and balance to their roster. Drafting a superstar like Caitlin Clark might have seemed like an easy way to grab headlines, but it could have disrupted the delicate process of creating a cohesive unit. One of the Valkyries' key selections, Tammy Benlay, highlights their strategic approach. As a veteran center, Benlay brings defensive prowess and leadership qualities that are essential for any team trying to establish its identity. Her selection, however, raised eyebrows because it meant leaving behind Caitlin Clark, who remains with the Indiana Fever. Fans speculated that Benlay's departure from the Fever was directly tied to Clark's growing influence on the team. Now here's where things get interesting. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player, she's a brand. Her presence on the court draws media attention, boosts merchandise sales, and energizes fan bases. For the Indiana Fever, she's a cornerstone of their rebuild. But for the Valkyries, drafting someone of her stature might have posed challenges. Managing a star player requires resources, not just financially, but in terms of team dynamics. Clark's style of play demands that the team's offense revolve around her. She's a high-usage player who thrives on having the ball in her hands. While this approach works for established teams with defined systems, it can be risky for a new franchise trying to find its footing. The Valkyries may have wanted to avoid building their entire identity around one player, no matter how talented. From the Atlanta Dream, the Golden State Valkyries select center Ilona Rupia. Another layer to this decision is the Valkyries' emphasis on defense and versatility. Players like Benlay, Ilona Rurt, and Monique Billings offer flexibility in multiple positions, allowing the team to adapt to different matchups. Drafting Clark, while enticing, might have limited their ability to assemble a well-rounded roster. But let's not overlook the Fever's role in all of this. As part of the expansion draft rules, teams were allowed to protect certain players. Unsurprisingly, the Fever chose to protect Caitlin Clark, effectively taking her off the table for the Valkyries. However, this decision came at a cost, leaving players like Bentley unprotected. For the Fever, this was a calculated risk. They prioritized securing their star player while accepting the potential loss of valuable role players. The decision To protect Clark also reflects her importance to the Fever's future. She's not just a player, she's a franchise centerpiece. Losing her would have been catastrophic for their rebuilding efforts. Still, some fans argue that the Fever's decision to leave Benlay unprotected was a mistake. After all, she's a reliable contributor who brings experience and toughness to the court for the Valkyrie. The draft was an opportunity to make a statement not just to the league but to their future fans by passing on high-profile players like Caitlin Clark. They signaled their intent to build a team based on depth, teamwork, and strategic planning. This approach may not generate immediate buzz, but it sets the foundation for sustainable success. Of course, not everyone agrees with this strategy. Some critics believe the Valkyries missed an opportunity to draft a generational talent. Caitlin Clark's ability to draw fans and elevate her teammates makes her a rare commodity in the WNBA. Passing on her might be seen as a gamble, especially for a new team looking to establish itself in a competitive league. Still, there's a case to be made for the Valkyries' decision. Building a successful franchise takes time and careful planning. While star players like Caitlin Clark can be game changers, they also come with challenges both on and off the court. For the Valkyries, the expansion draft wasn't just about acquiring talent, it was about laying the groundwork for a team that can compete at the highest level. What's next as the Valkyries prepare for their inaugural season? All eyes will be on their roster. Will their strategic approach pay off, or will they regret passing on players like Caitlin Clark? The answer might not come immediately, but one thing is certain: this decision will be scrutinized for years to come. The Valkyries' decision to pass on Caitlin Clark, while their choice might seem baffling on the surface, it's essential to look at the bigger picture, how this decision impacts the future of the Valkyries and Caitlin Clark's role with the Indiana Fever. First, let's revisit the idea of building a team from scratch. When you're starting a new franchise, there's an undeniable pressure to make a splash. A player like Caitlin Clark would have undoubtedly grabbed headlines and put fans in seats, but a franchise's success isn't measured by hype alone. It's about winning games and developing a sustainable culture. The Valkyries seem to have prioritized balance over star power. One aspect of this decision revolves around Caitlin Clark's fit within a brand new system. Clark is known for her dynamic, high-energy style of play. She's a high-usage player who thrives in systems designed to showcase her individual talents. However, for a new team like the Valkyries, drafting a player of Clark's caliber could have led to a lopsided roster. The team might have been tempted to build entirely around her, potentially sacrificing depth and versatility in the process. On the flip side, there's no denying the risks involved in bypassing a star like Clark. Historically, teams that secure elite talent in their early years often set themselves up for long-term success. Clark's ability to draw double teams, stretch defenses, and control the pace of a game makes her a generational talent. By passing on her, the Valkyries could be gambling on their ability to find comparable talent in the future, a risk that might not pay off. Let's also talk about the role of protected players in the expansion draft. As mentioned earlier, the Indiana Fever protected Caitlin Clark, ensuring she wouldn't be available for selection. This move was a no-brainer for the Fever. Clark is not just a key player for their team, she's the face of their franchise. Losing her would have been devastating, not only in terms of on-court performance, but also in maintaining fan engagement. However, the Fever's decision to protect Clark came at a cost. By doing so, they left other valuable players such as Tammy Benlay unprotected. This